I'm ready.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
All right, welcome back to the HVAC Game weekly live call. And today we're a little bit later, and I'm not driving, so that's really good because I started at a new company and everything is different, and I'm learning new stuff, different stuff. And yeah, even though I've been in the trade for 15 years and worked on everything from small mini splits to large rooftop units, cooling towers, chillers, kitchen hot side, refrigeration, and all of that kind of stuff. Um, I'm still learning every day, learning something new. So, welcome back to this with your host, Victoria, and me, Sasha. I already introduced myself, so let's get right into it. We are going to do it the same way like last week, where we are going to take up the topic of the week first, and then we'll take up community questions and other stuff that we might have to announce. Today, the topic is: should you go to trade school? Yes or no? I think it's a very good question, and it's one of the questions a lot of people ask me regularly. They write to me on Instagram, and I just hear it a lot. Like, do you think I need to go to trade school? Should I go to trade school? I want to go to trade school. So I just wanted to take up the pros and cons of trade school versus just starting out in the field. And we're going to start with, should you go to trade school? Yes. I'm gonna bring up both points really. So, um, one of the pros of trade school is very much if you're leaning more towards being a theoretical learner, you will have a structured approach to your learning because you have a curriculum, you're going to have a classroom, you're going to have a teacher, you're going to have a certain agenda that you're going through, you're going to learn, so it will be structured, you're going to learn theory, and it will just help you get more that way from it. So that's one of the pros. If you are a theoretical learner, that will be very good for you. It is structured, and honestly, there are some really, really good trade schools. So if you find a very good trade school with a good teacher, it might be very good for you because you're learning the correct procedures for everything, the reasons behind it, the all the theory, the whys and why something is done. So it's not just like you have all the hands-on experience, but you don't know why something is being done. Some trade schools also have hands-on training. They have specific training rooms where they teach you bracing, troubleshooting. They might have actual units available that you can work on. So you might get the exposure to air conditioning equipment without running the risk of messing up something that you're installing that a customer paid for. You will also be able to do your EPA, your Environmental Protection Agency license, which is required to work on refrigerant. Almost all the trade schools that I know of, I haven't heard of any trade school that doesn't provide the EPA certification because that's really the paper that you need to deal with refrigerant, to access the unit, to charge it, check charge and all that stuff. So you will get as part of your trade school, you will get your EPA license, which will allow you, at least in the United States, to work on refrigerant. And lastly, some colleges or trade schools, community colleges, they might have connections to businesses already, like air conditioning businesses, and they will hire you right out of trade school. So they might have some job fairs or something where you can apply to different companies, where you might be able to do some kind of internship with different companies and see what you like more. If you want to work on the residential side, industrial, commercial, maybe more on the electrical side, whatever you're going towards, maybe controls, which I don't know that they're going to do that in the beginning, but you might be able to, through your trade school or your community college, get exposure to companies that you would otherwise be unable to do. Also, the starting rates that I have heard for new technicians getting into the field coming out of trade school is anywhere from 20 to $25. So that is a really good starting salary, honestly, which brings us into some of the downsides. Because you are getting that salary, you're also paying for trade school. So that's one of the downsides. Some of the trade schools is 10 to $20,000. So that's a huge expense that you have to pay upfront. So you're basically going into debt to learn something, which compared to regular college tuition and stuff like that, it's probably very little, but it's still a big expense that you have to calculate with and that you have to pay back. So that's one of the cons. If you are a visual learner, you might have a hard time in the classroom setting. So if you are more like a hands-on, hey, I want to see how it works, which a lot of mechanical guys or mechanically inclined people, what I found is they're more of visual people. So they observe somebody working and then they learn it that way. So if you're a visual learner, you might have a hard time sitting in the classroom, just looking at pictures, looking at videos, or just reading text, which might be a downside for you if you are considering going to trade school. Also, while you're in trade school, as compared, like we're comparing trade school to going into the field, when you're going to trade school, obviously it's an investment of time as well. So if you're in trade school, you might be missing out on work opportunities that you could otherwise be pursuing, which is something to consider. Also, you need to do your research. Some trade schools are very bad, and the trade school really is only as good as the teacher teaching at that school. Some trade schools have very bad teachers. So it's really up to you. You have to do your research, get some reviews, maybe talk to people that attended that school and just find out how the course is. Also, if there is a specific teacher that is really good and that teacher doesn't work there anymore, it might be that the entire curriculum changes and becomes less good for you or less effective, less beneficial. So do your research if you are going to that. Otherwise, it might be very bad or like a negative for going to trade school. Some trade schools that I've also heard, literally all they do is, I mean, they charge you a bunch of money and then they sit you in a classroom and have you watch YouTube videos. So if you find a trade school like that, I'm very sorry to hear that, but that's why it's so important to do your research because some trade schools just are like that, unfortunately. Also, trade schools might take a long time. Some trade schools go all the way for like 2 years. And that's time that you are going to be sitting in the classroom learning that you have to pay for going there. And also, if they're not the best trade school, they might not have hands-on experience or hands-on training, which will prevent you from actually getting the hands-on experience that you need. Like they might not have availability to learn brazing or troubleshooting or actually even look at an AC unit because they just don't have the classroom, the setting, the shop where you can go and do that. So those are the cons. So I hope that helps you to determine if you should go to trade school. Like there's pros and cons. And now I'm gonna look at the field. There's also some pros and cons, and I'm gonna list them out for you. We're gonna go over, and then you can decide. Hopefully, I mean that's all like how I see it, based on what people have told me, based on what I hear, based on what feedback I'm getting from social media, from contacts, from people contacting me, telling me how it is, or even talking to people in the field that I meet. So, should you get into the field? My personal opinion is you should always start out in the field, but that's just me. You can do what you want to do, and let's get into why I think that. So, some of the pros on getting into the field is that you will be right there. You will get hands-on experience. You will be on the equipment that you will be servicing in the future. You will be working there and you will just get your hands dirty, learn, make mistakes, learn from your mistakes, become better. You will be paid to learn because you're going to get a like hourly wage probably to learn. And that compared to having $20,000 debt in trade school, which I don't know if the prices are higher now, but that's what I heard a few months ago. So I think it's pretty accurate. So if you get into the field, you're actually getting paid to learn the trade because somebody will be there teaching you. And that could be a very big pro for you. Like you're not going to have debts. You're going to save your 2 years and you're getting paid. Also, if you have a good lead technician, that's really important. If you have a good lead technician, you might learn more being in the field than you would be in trade school. So that's a very big point to look at is like when you're interviewing with a person or a company, ask them how their leads are, if they have trained people before, how the performance of these people are, just so you get your information as well. You will be able to work on variety of equipment. So you will have different equipments that you will be working on. You'll probably be starting out as a helper. So you'll be fetching tools, helping the technicians do their work. Then you will probably change equipment and start into getting into other things, like maybe hooking up some electrical connections, doing some drain lines, doing some duct work, doing some brazing. So you will start learning the entirety of the process of installing an air conditioner. Then you will get into probably preventative maintenance, changing filters, checking belts and stuff like that, and then get into a service technician role. Usually that's how it like proceeds. That's usually the steps. But just starting out in the field, you're probably going to get a lot of exposure to different things, learn a lot of different things, and just have a wider pool of knowledge that you're going to be able to draw from in the future. Also, if you're a visual learner, that's very beneficial for you because you're going to be there in the field. You can watch somebody do the work, copy them, learn from that. And also you can get feedback immediately while you're in the field, because if you mess up something while you're there, you have to make it work right on the spot. So if something goes wrong, you'll be able to see what you did that you did wrong, correct it, fix it, and see the end result. That's a huge benefit on the feedback loop, how fast you will be able to see what is good and what is bad. Also, from what I've heard, the starting salary for helpers, just starting without any experience, is $15 to $20 an hour, which is also not bad. So you can actually get paid to learn at that rate. So just look around and see what you're getting, but that's what I've heard. Some of like the negatives of the starting out straight in the field is obviously it's less structured because you're just gonna do whatever you're gonna do that day. It's assigned from the office based on the work that's supplied. So it might not be as structured. Also, if your lead technician is not good at teaching, you might have a hard time learning as fast as you could in a trade school setting, because obviously there is the skill of doing it, but then if you're a lead technician, there's also the skill of teaching. That's two different things. So some lead technicians might be good at the actual like repair, servicing, troubleshooting, diagnosing, but they might not be as good as a teacher. Also, I've heard like bullying in the field is a thing, which I find very sad, and I've had that to some extent. So you might need to develop thick skin when you're starting out. So that's a con, but you'll have to do that either way, even if you go to trade school and then start in the field later. So you could, I mean, it's a pro and a con because you're going to start earlier. But in general, I mean, I hate it, but it happens. So I'm just going to tell it to you right as it is. Also, if you are more of a theoretical learner, if you like to learn the theory behind things, the whys, why something works, it might not be as good if you're starting out in the field directly, because you will probably get less exposure to the theory behind things. Yeah, if you have a bad lead, they might not teach you. Also, added to that is you might pick up bad habits because you don't have a foundation yet. You don't know what is good, what is bad. So if you're going with a crew that doesn't have the standards that they're supposed to have, that are just like winging it or just making it work somehow and doing shoddy installation, and you might pick up some of those things thinking that they're the right procedures just because that's all you know. So you might pick up bad habits if you're just starting out in the field. And lastly, which also is maybe a plus point for going to trade school, is in general connections to learning. Because when you go into a trade school, you will have all the people that are there with you. You're going to probably connect with some of them, be able to exchange numbers. Maybe you get the number from the teacher or from other companies. Maybe there's some kind of like job fairs, as I said. So you might be able to get more connections on that side of things when you're going to trade school versus when you're out in the field where you might have other coworkers or something, but it's probably less on the learning side of things. So with all of that, I hope we went through everything from, okay, going to trade school and going into the field, the pros and cons. And my personal opinion, whenever somebody asks me what I tell them, if you want to go to trade school, go to trade school. But I would recommend at least doing a summer job for one summer, You can probably get a summer job anywhere with any company because the summertime is just crazy. A lot of people need installers, helpers, people to fetch tools, bring something here or there, and you can make money in the summertime. You will get hands-on experience with the equipment. You will get some kind of exposure, know what the tools are, know how the equipment looks like, you know how it works, maybe some basics. So you do that for a few months and you get your basic hands dirty. That's how I call it. You just get in the field, you do stuff, you connect with it, you learn what stuff is. And afterwards, you find a good trade school and you learn the theory behind everything. And I think that works very well because you need to be able to connect the theory that you're going to learn with whatever you have in the field. So if you have already worked a summer job, you have installed some AC systems and you have seen people work on it, you see different tools, you see different procedures. When you go to the school, you can actually identify, okay, what is the really valuable information that I need to do my job better in the future? Also, if you're just a helper and then you go to trade school, you're going to have your EPA license. So once you come back, you will have your EPA license. You will be able to make more money. Additionally, you will be making money all summer. You can be, if you're smart about it, you can save that up and probably pay some of your trade school already. So it's going to reduce your debts on that end. And I just think that is a very effective, efficient, and much more beneficial way for you to spend the time because you'll have your experience and then you're learning the theory behind it. And if you connect those, then I think nothing can stop you. And then obviously keep learning every day because that's just how it goes.
That makes sense. That's pretty good. Alrighty then.
Yes. So I hope that was really good. I tried to make it as concise as possible. I have my notes here. So now with all of that out of the way, do we have any community questions this week?
Yes, we do have a community question actually. Um, can I bypass the BFD on a blower motor? Variable frequency drive. Yes.
Yes. I saw that question, and yes, you can. It really depends on how desperate the customer is. In the example that we had, there was not even a contactor, and I honestly hate doing that because there's no control, nothing in between that might you cannot like if you straight wire your fan in, it will just be running. If anything goes bad, it's right on the disconnect, right on the breaker, or the fuses, whatever you have in the equipment. But if you know what you're doing, if you're looking at your wiring diagrams, if you know what the motor is supposed to do, how to wire it up, and you test everything afterwards, yes, you can bypass your VFD. I would usually put a contactor in. So when you're getting a fan call from the thermostat, you would have your 24 volts on your G terminal and you would activate the fan based on that. But, I mean, I know you're there to provide comfort. So when you get on a site, especially if it's in a commercial setting, let's say it's a large restaurant, they have like the busiest time, it's the dinner time, the lunchtime, everybody's going in and out, and they would have to close down the store if you wouldn't have the fan running because you're not circulating any air, nothing is working. So they would have to shut down, they would lose the entire day or 2 days, whatever it takes you to fix it. If you can get the equipment up and running by bypassing the VFD, by all means, go ahead, double check your work, know what you're doing, look at all the drawings and make sure everything is good when you're done. And then also follow up with the customer, make sure that the actual repair happens, that you replace the VFD or install the contactor as in that case, because in that case, it was just straight wire to the disconnect. So you turn the disconnect on, the unit was running all the time. And yes, as far as I saw, he installed it on low speed. So at least you have the airflow, you're going to get some kind of cooling going on. And I thought that was a good solution for the situation. So you can do it, but just be double sure that what you're doing is correct. And always stay safe, wear protection and make sure you measure everything. And electricity is very dangerous. So make sure you stay safe.
Okay, that makes sense.
Nice. Okay, so in the end, so we have two announcements. One is the electrical troubleshooting webinar on April 26th at 11 a.m. It's a basic introductory webinar on electrical troubleshooting as it applies to air conditioning equipment. So I'd love to see you there. There is a link in the community. You can just sign up. I might even be making it available for all my Instagram followers just because I want to spread more of the knowledge, and it's a live event. So you can come ask questions in the end and stuff like that. And I would love to just share the knowledge with more people. But obviously, this community takes priority. So if you're in the community, make sure you check out the calendar tab and sign up for that. And then second is on May 3rd at 1 p.m. We're going to have a HVAC Tech barbecue meetup in Austin. It will be family friendly because several of the people that want to come, they have family. They would love to bring their whole family, their kids, wife, kids and stuff like that. So it's like more family friendly. At the barbecue, there will be a pool. We will have some like kind of like grass area. Somebody said they might be bringing a little bouncy house, so that would be cool for the kids. And yeah, it's on the 3rd of May, and it's just to connect, network, talk shop, talk about, life and sports and whatever else you want to do. Last time was really awesome. We just had a blast. It was so much fun. We just like talked about everything really from air conditioning to video games, old movies to sports to fishing and how shitty it is that I'm a German and I don't like beer. So, well, I mean, I drink beer a little bit. It's not like major. So everybody wants to say about that. But anyway, so we had fun and I hope to see you there too. So all the information is in the calendar tab as well. That's all I have.
That's good. All right, then I guess that's it, huh?
Yes. And it was a little bit longer today, but I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something. And as always, let me know if we can improve something. And there we go. Have a great evening.